So, hello. From collecting art for everybody in the world, I come to you from a project which is about bringing art to everyone in the world in a hopefully creative way. And I'm very curious to see later on today what some of you come up with to work with us in that process. I come from a company called Little Sun, but also from a work of art that's called Little Sun and a global project that we would call Little Sun. And it's based on the simple but astonishing fact that 1.6 billion people in the world don't have access to electricity, and that we would like to remedy that in a given way, and we would like to do that creatively. So we set out to take that figure and do something against it. And basically, Little Sun is something I can show you. It's a small solar-powered lamp, our first product. The sun goes in the top here, and then quite easily you have a little lamp that shines in the night. Seems simple, and on the premises of MIT, you could argue technically not very advanced, but it is something that can actually change lives. And if you'll join me in that process, I think together we can even make it change more lives, and that's one of the interesting things that we're looking at. We're looking to create an impact in the world through creatively working together. And usually you define the main triple bottom line categories where you would want to have impact as social, financial, and environmental. We would argue, though, that you have to add emotional to that, because this is what carries things into the world, and this is how we can actually engage in a way that is more really about being together and doing something together. We want to have fun in what we do. So, you know, that camel needs a solar lamp, and it's great. We need to bring things out there that look powerful, look beautiful. We started working coming from Olafur Eliasson's artist studio in Berlin, coming from the museums of the world, coming from not yet the online museum, unfortunately, but the MoMA and other places. And we thought, what can we actually do to get out of the boundary of the ivory tower of the Western art world? How can we engage in the world in a different way? How can we create a work of art that's truly global? And how can we do that in a way that we also consider meaningful? And addressing it with something as simple as solar technology and LEDs, bringing that out, but bringing out not only a little piece of technology, but also an emotion, a feeling, something that empowers you, something that allows you to harness the power of the sun, take it into your hand, seemed very compelling. When we thought about how to bring these lamps initially to Africa, you know, we thought, okay, we'll try to find some money, we'll ask people to donate, then we'll bring in a few lamps to some poor person in Africa. Quite quickly, we realized that we wouldn't reach any kind of scale that would have an impact with that methodology, and we would be counterbalancing any values of self-esteem, any feeling, any emotion that we would actually usually want to bring into the world. So we realized we're not making a product for poor people, we're actually making a fantastic little work of art for everybody. It goes to families in Iceland, and it goes to kids in Ethiopia, and you can take it traveling, you can take it walking, you can take it everywhere. It's very much, of course, about studying at night, about not sitting next to a kerosene lantern. But it's also really about celebrating, being together, creating a social space. That is what art, in my opinion at least, should be doing. We should create a social space for all of us to engage, something that can build compassion in the world, something that may maybe also be a little business, something that can allow you to prosper and to strive and to be aspirational and to want to go somewhere. And so we started bringing out this little work of art through the idea of social business, bringing it into the world. We have a few yellow dots on that map, but we aim to have many, many more in the coming years. We've been around for 1.5 years as an entity. This is one of the founding partners, Frederick, and myself, looking like two total idiots somewhere in Senegal, but bringing lamps into trade. And Olafur, the artist behind it, who's not in on the picture, is the one who designed this little object, designed it in a way that carries an emotion, designed it based on talking to very many people in rural Ethiopia. We realized quite quickly it's not about the object, though. It's really about how this object makes it into the world and how the story carries. It's about creating a little wedge that you can put into the door to get people to talk about energy access, to get people to engage with it, and to move not 165,000 lamps, but in the next years, millions of lamps, so we can create a little tiny dent in that number of 1.6 billion. We do that beginning very simply by selling lamps for a higher price in areas like Boston, taking the profits and using that to kickstart small businesses in rural off-grid areas. In the rural off-grid areas, we still have a very high percentage of the money going into the production of lamps, so it really is a sustainable business. There is no charity involved in this. It's not that you guys sitting here in Boston can give something to someone poor on the other end. It's really about working together. I'm standing here now, and my team in Zimbabwe, for example, is very curious to see what everyone here comes up with today. So Edwin will be following on Facebook from Zimbabwe what we're doing here. And that will hopefully power a lot of people like this guy in creating a livelihood, in bringing these lamps out to many people in the world. We have great little stories. This is, for example, Constance, who works in a fantastic gallery in Cape Town. And the gallerist we know and have known since a long time through Olafu's work in the Western art world. The gallerist tried to sell some lamps, but failed miserably. It didn't work out. So Constance, who works as a cleaning lady in the gallery, said, listen, I live in an area where there is no electricity. I like this, though. I like your approach. I like that we're doing something together. Let me take some of these lamps and simply move them and sell them to the people. And I have 0 minutes left, so I will leave it at that slide. This is a global project. I will be happy to talk to anyone about it in more detail. As you can tell, I can talk for much too much time in the whole process. Thank you.